So in the previous video we completed this part, the middle part of the car. So that was this one. So now let's move to the back part of the car. So we'll hide the middle part of this car that was once referenced, this one, and we'll reference this layer, or maybe we'll hide these layers. So now let's first of all we'll make the layers that have been done in green color. So the last layer we completed was this one. So green, save, double click, green, save, double click, green, save. So this time we'll complete this one first of all. So we'll do it with this controller over here. So we'll first of all combine these layers. Combine, W, history, center pivot. Combine, history, center pivot. Select both of them and this one and add these again into the layer. Since combining the objects will create a new layer and new layer of the objects, and it will remove these objects from this layer. So we'll add them again, then we'll open the new layer. We'll repeat the same process. Shift right click, combine, shift right click, combine, and shift right click, combine. Select all these three, W, history, delete, center pivot, and add them to the new layer. So now we'll start the rigging process. So for this one we'll use this controller over here. We'll select this part, or maybe we'll first of all select this part, and this time for the rigging process we'll first of all use the set key, space bar, animate, set key, set, and we'll key the translate Y and translate Z of this object. So we'll select translate Y and translate Z, translate Z, and we'll select this circle and make it as the driver, and we'll select its translate Z. So at position 0 of the controller we'll put a key. We'll move the controller forwards. We'll select the object. We'll take its Y position higher and take the Z position little bit backwards from its original position, and we'll press key again. Then we'll take it to the 0 position again, like this. Then we'll select this object, or first of all we'll key the second object, that would be this one. We'll take it as the driven object. We'll key its 0 position with the 0 position of the controller, and we'll repeat the same process. So for that we'll select this object, we'll select its translate Y and translate Z, and we'll add a key. Then we'll move the controller, and till this point we want its position to remain same, so we'll add a key again, and we'll move the controller furthermore till maybe this much point, and we'll move this object little bit upwards like this and backwards, slightly downwards, just beneath this part of the car, the above part, this one, and we'll add key again. So what happens right now is this. Then we'll move the controller just a little bit forwards. We'll select both the layers. We'll add them as the driven. Select both the layers and select the translate Y. and take the translate Y downwards and key. And in the process of them going downwards, these layers will go off the visibility simultaneously. So for that we'll go to the above position, that was this one, this position over here. We'll select this object, we'll select the edit mesh, cut faces tool, we'll add a cut faces tool over here, press W, press Ctrl A, go to the cut faces tool menu, select delete faces, select the tool, make it as a driven object, press Ctrl A, and it would be visible over here. So we'll select the translate state and we'll key it. Then we'll move the controller forward to its final position, that would be this one, and we'll make the object go off the visibility like this. Now press key again. Then we'll select this part, we'll move the controller backwards to this place, till this much place, select this part, go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, and we'll add a cut faces tool over here like this, press W, press Ctrl A, select the delete faces option, select the polycut tool, make it as the driven, press Ctrl A again, and first of all we'll key it in this very same manner. We'll press key again, we'll move the controller forwards like till maybe like this much, and we'll select the polycut and we'll make it hidden like this, and we'll add a key. So now what happens is this part goes like this, and then they go off the visibility like this, and along with them we'll make this circle part go off the visibility. So for that we'll make it as the driven object, move the controller forwards till here, we want it to be visible, so we'll put a key on the visibility and we'll add key, and just the controller moves forward till this much, we want its visibility to be 0, that is off, and we'll key again. So this is what happens, and as you see the polycut is creating this problem over here. So we'll go back to this part, we'll select this object, we'll make it as the driven object, we'll key its visibility, we'll move the controller forwards till this place, select the object again, key the visibility to 0 and press key. We'll repeat the process with the same process with this part. We'll select the part and go to driven. We'll move the controller a little bit backwards till maybe this much part. No, till maybe like this much part, and we'll add visibility, a key on the visibility. We'll select the part and we'll add a key on the visibility, key. Then we'll move the controller forwards and we'll add 0 over here, key, and then we'll press key. So now we'll move to the new layer, that would be this one, and first of all we'll make the old layer as the reference layer. So we'll repeat the same process, but this time what we'll do, we'll keep this part hidden until this time of the controller. So for that we'll press edit mesh, cut faces tool, and over here place the cut face tool over here, press W, press Ctrl A, delete faces, select, Ctrl A, make it as the driven object, and go to the Z axis, Z, make it go hidden, and press key, and move the controller forwards till maybe this much part, and then we'll select the polycut, and then we'll make the object come into visibility and press key again. So as you can see, the polycut created a problem once again, and it left this part. So we'll select this part and make it as a driven object, move the controller, and we'll place a key on this part on the visibility as 0 till this part. Sorry, Control Z, selecting this part, 0 on this part till this point of the controller. We'll press key, sorry, selecting the visibility key, moving the controller just a little bit forwards, press a key on the visibility of this part once again, and we'll press 1 now to make it visible on, sorry, Control Z, this is too high, so maybe till this much point over here, and this much point we'll make the visibility 1, sorry, Control Z, we'll take it just a little bit backwards like this much, we'll press 1 this time, that is fine. Sorry, that is not fine actually. Yes, we can leave it over here, and we'll press 1, and then we'll press key. So this is what it appears like. Sorry, something went wrong. So we'll select this object. What we want is we want its visibility to be keyed till this much part. So we'll first of all place a key on the visibility of this part at this point as key, and we'll take the controller backwards till maybe like this much part, and we'll place a key on it, its visibility as 0 and key, sorry, Control Z, selecting this part as 0 and key. So now what happens is, so this is fine. Now let's move on to the second part. That was this one. We'll select this part, we'll add it to the driven object, we'll take the y-axis little bit downwards, we want it to be hidden till at least till this much part. So we'll select this object, we'll add a key over here, then we'll move the controller forwards and take the y value to 0, and we'll add key, take the controller backwards over here till this much part, and we'll first of all copy the final position of the controller, that is this one, Control C, we'll take it backwards till this much place, and we'll make this part go off the visibility here. For that we'll go to edit mesh and cut faces tool, and we'll add a cut face tool over here, press W, press Ctrl A, delete faces, we'll select the part, Ctrl A, we'll make it as a driven object, then select the Z axis, we'll make the part invisible at first, we'll set a key, then we'll put the final position of the controller, we'll press Ctrl V for that, we'll press enter, and then at this position we'll make the part come into visibility, and we'll add key. So this is what is happening right now. So we'll hide these objects till this position of the controller. So we'll select this part, we'll make it as a driven object, we'll select the visibility, we'll put a 0 over it, we'll add key, and we'll move the controller just a little bit further, and we'll select the object and we'll make it 1 as like this, and key. So this is how this part takes place, like this. Now let's move to the next layer. We'll add a green color over here, like this. Now we'll edit this layer. Now this layer will get converted into this layer. So this is one of the most interesting parts in this layer, in this back part of the car. So we'll select this, we'll make the old layer visible first, and we'll hide this layer right now. Now we'll select this part. So what we can do is we'll hide these layers, and we'll first of all combine these two objects. Shift right click, combine. We'll select this part. Okay, it's combined already. So we'll select this part, history delete, center pivot, add them to the old layer, add selected objects. So now what we'll do is we'll select this object, go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, place a cut faces tool over here like this. Press W, press Ctrl A, press delete faces, select the tool, make it as a driven object, press Ctrl A again, and for this rigging process, this part of the rigging process, we'll make a new controller. We'll select these two layers, we'll press Ctrl D, we'll take them over here, and we'll select this part, we'll delete history and make it freeze transform, and we'll freeze transform this value also. So this won't move in this direction because it has been limited. It's to move in this value, these values only. So for that we'll go press Ctrl A, we'll go to the transform node, we'll take these translation locks off this controller, and then we'll freeze transform it again. We'll freeze transform it over here so that we get a 0 value over here. Then we'll add the locks over here. So for that we'll select the 0 value as the maximum value. We'll move the controller right towards the right direction to this place, and we'll add a minimum value this way, and we'll lock it. Now we have this controller over here. So we'll make this controller as the driver right now, and we have made the polycut as the driven object over here, and we'll select the Z axis and we'll select the translate Z of the controller, and we'll add a key. Now we'll move the controller forwards to this much position, and we'll select this polycut, and we'll make the object go off the visibility, and we'll press key. So here you see there is this much part left. This is the problem that polycut tool created. So we'll take the controller just a little bit backwards, till this much position, and we'll select this part, make it as a driven object, key the visibility, we'll move the controller forwards till this much part, and we'll select this object and we'll make its visibility go off, and we'll add key. So now we'll select this part and we'll make this part go off the visibility. So for that we'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, and we'll add a key over here. like this. Press W, press then we'll press Ctrl A, then we'll select the cut faces tool, we'll press delete faces, select, make it as the driven object, press Ctrl A. We want it to be visible right now, so for that we'll select the X axis this time and we'll add a key. Then we'll move the controller forwards like this, and we'll select the cut faces tool and we'll make it hidden like this, and we'll add a key. So same problem again, this small part has been left, so for that we'll move the controller just a little bit backwards till this place, select the part, make it as a driven object, put a key on the visibility, move the controller just a little bit further and select the part, take the visibility to 0 and we'll add a key again. So this is what we have got right now. So now let's move to the new layer. We'll reference this old layer. So we want this layer to be hidden till this part. So we'll select this part. We'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool. We'll add a cut faces tool over here like this. Press W, press Ctrl A, delete faces, select Ctrl A, and driven object. And we'll select the Z axis and we'll make it invisible right now. And we'll add a key. Then we'll move the controller furthermore till this place and we'll make the part come into visibility now, and we'll add a key again, and we'll select this part. Then we'll keep its visibility off till this much part over here. Then for that we'll select this part, we'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, edit mesh, cut faces tool, we'll add cut faces tool beneath this object like this. Press W, we'll press Ctrl A, select the delete face tool, select, cut Ctrl A, select the Y axis, make it invisible right now like this, and we'll add a key in the Y axis like this. Then we'll move the controller forwards till maybe like this much place. We'll select this one, we'll make it visible, and we'll add a key again, and we'll repeat the same process with these two objects. And this time we won't combine these two parts so that we get some more variations in the rigging process of these two parts. So we'll select this part, we'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, we'll add a cut face tool over here, press W, press Ctrl A, delete faces, select, press Ctrl A, and then we'll make it invisible right now. So for that we'll go to X axis, we'll make it invisible like this, and we'll add a key, and we'll copy this position, Ctrl C, then we'll move the controller forwards back to this much position, and then we'll make the part come into, sorry, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, okay, Ctrl Z again, and again Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Okay, this much is over. So this thing like this, Ctrl Z. Then we'll select the this part. We'll go to Ctrl A. We'll select the polycut and make it as the driven object. Press Ctrl A again, and we'll this time we'll first of all key the x-axis of this part, and we'll key. Then we'll move the controller forwards to maybe this much position and make the part come into visibility like this, and key. And we'll move the controller back again by pasting the previous value. And then we'll select this part, we'll go to edit mesh, cut faces tool, we'll add the cut face tool over here, press W, press Ctrl A, press delete, select, and we'll add Ctrl A, press Ctrl A. Then we'll, after selecting the polycut, we'll add it as the driven object, and this time we'll select the x-axis again, and since it is hidden right now, so we'll keep it hidden and we'll add a key. Then we'll move the controller forwards like this much position, select the polycut, make it come into visibility like this, and we'll add key. So this is how it comes into visibility. Like this. So now after completing this layer, we'll add a green color on this layer. Okay, so we'll save the file. Now we'll move to the next layer. So we'll first of all maybe do this tire layer. So we'll key this layer using this controller only. So at position 1, these two objects will be left over here, and these two tires will be at this very position. So for that we'll make this tire as the driven object like this, and we'll key its translate X and scaling axes. So for that we'll select the scaling axis and translate Z, and we'll add key. Then we'll move the controller forwards to maybe this much position and take the tire, move it inside to maybe 1.5 value, and take the scaling downwards to maybe 0.9 and minus in the x-axis, and we'll add a key. So what happens is the tire goes inside and becomes smaller. So we'll repeat this process with this tire also. So at the 0 position, the tire is here, and we'll key its translate X and scaling values. We'll add a key, and at the next value, that would be somewhat around over here like this, we'll select the tire, we'll move it into minus 1.5, sorry, 0.5, sorry, Control Z, we'll check this value, that is 1.5, so we'll add a 1.5 over here. Okay, it's working, it's not working as it should be, so we'll add the value manually. So we'll add 0.15. okay, maybe I was looking it in a wrong manner, it would have been 0.15 only. So this is the value, we'll put it over here, we'll key the scaling values to 0.9, and we'll add a key, and we'll select both the tires, make them as the driven object, select both the tires, and we'll move the controller just a little bit for backwards, and we'll add a key on the visibility of both the tires, key. Then we'll move the controller furthermore like this much, and we'll add a key on the visibility, and we'll press 0 and we'll add a key. Now at this point, the new tires will come into visibility. So for that, what we'll do is first of all we'll copy this value, Control C, move this value a little bit backwards till over here. We'll add the new layer, and right now we'll make the old layer as reference. And now what we have to do is we'll start the tires to be at this position in the first frame. So what we'll do is we'll move the tires inside like this much position, and their scaling value to be 0.85, and we'll make it as the driven object. We'll select its scaling values and the translate text value, and we'll add a key. Control Z. We'll take the controller value to the final value of the old layer where the old tires go off the visibility, and we'll put a value of the new tire from there, and we'll add a key. And along with that, we'll select we'll key the visibility layer afterwards, and we'll move the controller forward more till maybe like this much position, then or maybe more than that, and we'll add a key that would take the scaling value back to 1 and the translate value back to 0, and we'll add a key. We'll repeat the same process with this tire, the tire from this side. So we'll put the previous value, Control Z, over here. So at this position, this tire was at this value. This is minus 0.221. So we'll select this and we'll add 0.221. This, we'll select this tire, make it as a driven object, scaling, the translate X. So we'll scaling as 0.85, and we'll add a key. We'll move the controller to its final position, that is this one, like this, and we'll add a key where the scaling goes back to 1 and the translation goes back to 0, and we'll add a key over here. And along with that, what we want is this tire layer to be invisible in till this part, maybe till at this part. So we'll select both the tires, make them as the driven object, select both the tires, key their visibility to be at 0, and we'll add a key. Then we'll move the controller forwards just a little bit, and we'll add a key on the tires and put their visibility to 1 and add a key. So this is how the tires transform. And along with that, to add a more aesthetic look to the tires coming out, what we can do, and we'll add a key on the rotation values of these tires. So we'll select them, we'll make them as the driven object, we'll add a rotation key on the x-axis, rotation X, we'll add a key at this very position, we'll add key, we'll copy this position, Control C, we'll take the tire forwards and rotate the tire in this axis to maybe minus 360 degrees, like this, and we'll add a key. So as you can see, this rotation is very high. So what we'll do is we'll press Ctrl Z, and instead of pressing minus 360, we'll select minus 150 or maybe minus 120, and we'll press enter, and we'll add a key. So this rotation looks fine. or if you consider this rotation to be higher or lesser, it's all up to you. So we'll add this rotation to the previous tire also. So we'll place the controller value, that was control V, this one. We'll select this tire as the driven object now, and we'll add a key on the rotation X. We'll move the controller to its final position, that was minus 0.353, like this, and we'll add a key on the rotation E, this axis. So we'll add minus 120 and we'll add a key. So this is what we have got now. So this is it for this was the 7th video of the rigging process. Thanks.